Nobody wins when the family feels, but my stash can't.
This car, pictured here and believed to be a light blue Toyota sedan.
The gunshots going pop, pop, pop.
This neighbor living in the Carver-Langston community in Northeast D.C. says she is fed up with ducking from bullets, something she had to do just a few years ago.
My car was in a crime scene, so they asked for my keys after they identified, my tag number, and I gave it to them, and that's what it was. It had bullet holes in it.
On Wednesday night, MPD officials say multiple shooters fired their guns into a crowd of people, sending 5 people to the hospital, including a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old, and killing this man, 29-year-old Aubrey McLeod.
I'm numb. I watch the news every day, and I see victims and moms on TV, and I felt like I had done right by mine. And it's just an unfortunate incident where now, I'm the one with the mic to my mouth.
And it could have been anybody, but it was mine. And I'm not saying it should have been somebody else's. No, I don't wish bad on nobody else. But my son, I wish he just wasn't there.
It's just really hard to wrap your head around. 3 brothers murdered in the district. 2 of them shot to death, 1 of them stabbed, 2 of them at metro stations.
I don't understand how the shooter got into there with the gun, shot my son, and then he got out of there, just walked out. And it's Metro Transit downstairs and 2 or 3 officers upstairs. Johnny was stabbed in the throat. So, I don't know, brother. We need help.
Man, when I was first asked to cover this story, I was excited. Not necessarily because this story was more important than the others that we covered, but because I just received some unfortunate news about the demise of a close friend of mine. And to be honest, sad to say, where I'm from, at a very early age, I grew accustomed to death. And the harsh reality is a lot of us feel the same way, believe it or not. So to make a long story short, I was eager to jump out on foot and get some raw footage. Not to mention, talk to the people and get their responses. Plus the story we about to discuss happened to be based out of the area I grew up in, DC. So I knew this would be the perfect opportunity to clear my mind on some things that bring me peace, like spreading awareness on these stories and bringing them to you guys. Plus, I can go back to some places in my city that I normally wouldn't go at this stage of my life. And because of that, I'm privileged to bring you guys more information. This is the city I was born and raised in. Now I can bring you guys more insight on the story at hand. So I believe this format will bring great value to the platform for not just my city, but throughout the world. So fam, understand, your opinions, your support, and your constructive criticism will continue to be held in its high regards. For not just this story when we use this format, for the ones in the future as well. Today our story is based about a Washington DC dad who lost 3 of his sons to violence in DC. 1 who was stabbed to death, and 2 who lost their life to gun violence. May all 3 rest in peace. A horrible feeling. I can only imagine losing 1 child, let alone 3. Now 2 of them lost their life on the premises of metro train stations for the DMV area. And I know for those who know, this can sound remedial, but for those who don't know, the DMV stands for DC, Maryland, and Virginia. But the 2 locations these teenagers lost their life were on the DC train station locations, which we'll later discuss. The family TV managed to get personal footage from all scenes of all 3 victims. Not to mention, spoke to some people about the situation at hand. One was an interview with a person who very close affiliated with Metro, who we have to cover he or she identity for the sake of this video and their safety. But most of all, we hear from the mom and dad of the victims. So I'll shine a light on this family story while briefly discussing DC violence and sending them love and prayers. Remember, I don't give you no angle, I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. In the last 24 hours of recording this video, Washington DC had its first 70-degree-plus day of 2024. And on that very day, 9 people were shot and 2 were left deceased in the span of just under 5 hours. At one scene in Northeast DC, 2 people people hop out a stolen car, which managed to escape and let off over 50 rounds, striking 5 people, as we mentioned, in Northeast DC in a neighborhood called 21st, leaving kids, young as 14, women, and men struck, leaving one man DOA, a father of 3, a leader, a great man, a very, very close friend of mine since the 9th grade, Aubrey McLeod, aka Breeze. May he rest in peace and love and condolences to his family. I highly doubt he was the intended target based on the scope of the scene, according to authorities. The fact that anyone was shot that was visible to sight, including kids, broad daylight, that very much mean everyone who was hit and struck, including Breeze, could have been just at the wrong place at the wrong time. A man who just happens to tweet on his ex account who live in DC that posted this: casual night in Lincoln Park, which was the alleged murder suspect car driving away from the scene. Now, just a block away from that crime scene, on the 2000 block of M Street Northeast, a young man was gunned down while cutting his grass, who happens to be one of 3 siblings who lost their life due to violence in DC, with the last one happening on the first week of April of 2024 at a Metro train station in Washington, DC. And let's slow down and go in order, so you guys won't be confused. But first, let's go over the history of Metro trains in DC. Metro began building its rail system in 1969. It acquired 4 regional bus systems in 1973 and began operating the first phase of Metro Rail in 1976. Today, Metro Rail serves 98 stations and has 128 miles of track. Metro Bus serves the nation capital, aka DC, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with 1,500 buses. But just like everything else in life, family, they got their pros and their cons with driving public transportation, and even some workers voice concerns of their safety. Check it out.
You gonna tell me how you feel driving Metro?
Huh?
You gonna tell me if Metro make you safe or not? Okay.
No, fuck no. Metro don't make me feel safe. I just got raised last week. On the train, the man started pulling down his pants and playing with himself and had a belt wrapped around his hands like about to choke himself.
How you doing? Don't mind me. I was just getting some filler footage. I was doing a story on the father who lost 3 kids. The violence. Yeah. One I was at Danewood, the stabbing. But this was years ago, the Danewood one. One I was at Brooklyn Station, and one just happened on the 4th of this month, so.
The one that just happened in Brooklyn for last week, right?
Yep. So I just left from there. It was crazy because, I was just telling, I grew up in this area, so just knowing, I haven't been in Danewood Metro so long, but I used to ride it every day, so I understand, the grieving process, and I was just asking people, the pros and cons of the Metro and, how they feel like the safety, but honestly, there's just so much you can do.
Yeah, you're right, but you got Danewood and you got Minnesota. You got 2 of the worst stations in the system.
Yeah, and then you got a lot of people, this for years, but this Metro has been a centerpiece between 2 neighborhoods forever that always had tension,
Shooting in the back.
Kenilworth, and then you got Danewood 49th, and so there's always has been that thing also, vice versa, then even the other people who come and just commuting and going to school and things in that nature.
I got people that drive in and park their cars here in the morning and go up.
Yeah.
And they're afraid to get out of their cars in the morning. Transit's never around. DC police, we don't have a direct line. We can't call them. Shooting a guy got shot in the back, ran here just before I'm getting off work. And then we got this new general manager. He has us standing outside the kiosk in the morning for no reason. I have no protection outside there. And all these people coming through here with knives, guns, and whatever, and we don't know, kids up at a shooting upstairs on the front side, 8 o'clock in the morning, kids going to school. But yet he wants us standing outside to say good morning. There's no significance at all.
No,
this
it doesn't.
general manager has no reason, he's, from what I'm told, he got pissed off because he was at another station in front of some people. He didn't like what they had to say. He never identified himself. So now everybody's being punished by standing outside in the morning, and in the afternoon, regardless of the weather conditions. Send out a memo saying if it's raining and you get wet, bring a second change of clothes. Are you crazy? No reason for us to be out there.
It's not. It's
when
not.
People come, I'll stand out there, they'll come up into the window. Where are you supposed to come? But they're just allowing this stuff to continue.
And that's the bigger problem that needs to be addressed. That's the bigger problem, I have been to 2 metro stations in the last 2 hours. I have seen nothing but transit cars. And that need to be emphasized, that's real as it get. And we hear that they, ramping up far as, hiring Metro Transit officers.
They have no authority.
Right.
They have all the authority in the world. Metro Transit police officers have more authority than local.
They absolutely do.
Because they have 3 jurisdictions, Maryland, Virginia, and D.C.
Yep.
But they don't let them enforce anything.
Nope.
The fed evasion was crazy. They got their sign talking about we're stepping up their enforcement. They're not allowed to do anything. I've seen 1 ticket written since this new ordinance went into effect. It was 2 weeks ago. 1 ticket. They say they ticketed 35 people the very first. Really, that's a joke. And this is constant.
Speaking of what?
It happens. It's everybody. Old, young, black, white. It don't even matter anymore. They talk about they lost $40 million.
If it was something to be addressed, like far as for the public, far as safety concerns or anything, what could be voiced?
Pretty much everything. No safety for the personnel. Because they don't care about us. I come to work
and
at
that's
4:30
that's important.
I come in here at 4:30 in the morning, and nobody out there.
Wow.
It's pitch dark. I got in here at 4:30, 4:50. I heard people screaming out there. Some guys were pulled up in the parking lot and attempted to rob them. Transit eventually got here. But the very next morning, you think transit would have been here, right?
Nope.
No.
Wow.
And, it makes no sense.
Wow.
They let you know. Is this? They don't care about this.
It makes sense.
They don't. And the fire covers a lot of stuff. And back in my day, they used to have investigative reporters.
Yeah.
Where they would get a job within the company and get it from the inside out. I wish they'd go back to it because a lot of stuff that goes around here, everything on the Green Line, from Branch Avenue, Nail Road, shootings every day. What's the one? George Avenue, Petworth, Columbia Heights. They're shooting into the stations.
Wow.
And nothing's done. This is not bulletproof.
Wow.
If they get the shooting and I'm out there, I got a better chance in here than I do out there. So what's the reason for us standing out there? None.
Right. That has to be addressed.
And nobody addresses it.
That has to be addressed. I appreciate it.
Metro is reactive, not proactive. That's what they're reactive, not proactive.
Yep.
Because a lot of this stuff I don't have an MBA, but I can run this company better than it's being run. See that?
I believe that.
I'm here every day, I see it. They're sitting down at the main building, They got security. When you walk in the building, you got security. You got you got metal detectors. You got private entrances.
Yeah.
He's got full security there. We have nothing out here. And by the time you call transit, by the time they get here,
It down. Yeah, situation over. Situation over.
You know, we got security guards walking the platforms and they can't do anything.
Wow.
Now, they're armed security guards and they can't do anything. Now, what kind of sense does that make?
Wow.
Just up there for show, that's all.
Wow. Man, I'm gonna do another story on this, man. On the Metro, period. I have to.
I mean, it's got to come to light because somebody's gonna end up getting seriously hurt. Seriously hurt. And like I said, you know, they got. I just want to know why you got your employees standing outside. That's not my job. Regardless of the weather condition, he wants you outside. If the temperature gets 31 degrees, you don't have to stand outside. If it gets 91 degrees, you don't have to stand outside.
But everything in between.
Yeah. 3.5 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the evening.
That's crazy.
But I ain't supposed to show this to nobody, but that's the parking violation, boss. Everything is relative to us and not to nobody else. It's a warning, caution, reprimand, 1 day suspension, 3 days, 5 days suspension, final warning, 7th time they get you out here, termination. And then this is the icing on the cake. Carry extra hat, socks, gloves, hat, jackets, in case what you were wearing becomes wet. This is my perfect copy, but I had another copy in it. You know, and the guy got shot back there, ran in here. He got shot up front. Had a shooting directly across the front, and we had no security. 2 workstations in here on this line right here. It's Greenwood, Minnesota. You have no you don't have security out. By the time they get here, everything is gone. And the people up on the platform, they can't do anything.
They can't do nothing.
They're armed security guards, and Metro tells them not to do anything.
The first was a 15-year-old kid, John Rufus III. This happened at 11 a.m. Monday as he was exiting a train station. April 12, 2016. The train station he was at was Deanwood Subway Station, a train station that's located between 2 neighborhoods, Kenilworth and Deanwood, or some say 49th. An 18-year-old named Javante Hall of Northeast was later arrested and charged with 2nd degree while armed. John Evans was stabbed to death. Police say the incident was captured on camera, and the images of the stabbing led to the suspect. They say neither team was part of a gang, but rather an ongoing dispute led to the stabbing. They said the two were riding the same train, but in separate cars. According to the affidavit filed in the case, 4 people made eye contact and called out to each other between cars. Now, if you guys just heard the interview that had to be edited for that person's sake, you know they possibly already had called Metro Transit, but they gonna come late. And I want to make note of this. During this, I guess you can say, investigation, I went to 2 subway stations in DC, about 20 minutes apart, and it happens to have no Metro Transit police officers in sight in a span of 2 hours. But that's something I'm used to being from DC. Witnesses say that when the train had stopped, Hall got off with a woman and Evans got off with a man. 2 of the witnesses say that the man with Evans appears to be recording with a cell phone as they all made their own way down the escalator. That's when witnesses say there was some commotion and punches were being thrown. Then Evans collapsed to the ground. The latest incident comes several weeks after 15-year-old Devontae Washington was shot and killed at the same Metro station. The suspect in this incident, 17-year-old Maurice Bellamy, was also captured with the aid of Metro security cameras, who faced 2nd-degree murder charges.
2 weeks apart. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jim Hadley.
And I'm Wendy Rieger, sitting in for Doreen. Tonight, one victim's mother says she was trying to get her son out of harm's way. John Evans III died today after he was stabbed while leaving the Deanwood Metro metro station in Northeast. This happened near the Fairgate. And police have released this picture of the man they say is connected to the case through surveillance video.
As we continue, we want to say rest in peace to John and love and condolences to his family. The second brother wouldn't lose his life till 7 years later, May 1st, 2023. His name was John Coleman. While he was doing handyman work for a neighbor, he hopped on his bike to get his tools. 7 seconds later, you hear a gunshot. So the victim fell off the bike. A neighbor quoting, "He had a work vest on. You hear a pop and he just fell off the bike." George Suden, 44 years old, was charged with first-degree M while armed for his alleged involvement in the fatal shooting. It's unclear what started this shooting. It was just one shot, but here's the scene. John Coleman was just 34 years old, the oldest of the three brothers. May he rest in peace and love and condolences to his family. Not even a year later, John had lost his brother, Avion Evans, on April 4th, 2024 at 3:59 p.m., who was shot to death on a platform of Brooklyn Catholic University Metro Station, who happens to be a half a block from Catholic University. Avion Evans was just 14 years old. Metro Transit police have announced an arrest in the deadly shooting. Not releasing the name, they say a 16-year-old suspect was taken into custody on Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. The metro station was evacuated after shots had rang out. This is the 800 block on Monroe Street, Northeast. Police had arrived, found Evans on the platform with a gunshot wound, and he was later pronounced deceased. The alleged gunman was caught on camera as he fled the station. The teen shot killed at Brooklyn Metro Station. Suspected gunman was on a loose pitcher. Following an investigation, police said they believed the group of teens were involved in a fight on a platform when the shooter, who was not involved in the fight, pulled out a gun and fired multiple shots. As we mentioned, no security and no safety on these public transportation. The suspect was charged with second degree and was being held at the DC Juvenile Detention Facility. Police say he's being charged as a juvenile. Chief Smith noted the surveillance video was key to solving his case, that the newly opened real-time crime center contributed to the quick arrest. And as you know, within just minutes of the shooting, our real-time crime center distributed an image of the suspect. Quoted, "I'd like to thank the community who was very, very instrumental, very helpful in providing us with various tips and calls which aided in this investigation." But fam, now you see why that conversation was important to this story that we briefly discussed and shared at the Metro's train station. But not everyone feel bad or feel unsecure about the safety on the trains, at least some DC residents. Check it out.
You're driving Metro right now, like is it convenient or what's your perks and what's the cons about it?
I ain't gonna say it for me.
I'm sorry.
I ain't gonna say it for me. It's enough.
It's just enough?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to see improved with it?
Yes.
Like what? A lot. Anything that come to mind?
You got route you like they need to find something where they can go for further out, especially where I live at. So it would be good to have the bus transportation line where I live at or like I had back home.
Okay, so like expanding the routes? Okay. You feel secure to ride in the Metro? Like fire? Okay. I thank you for your time.
Yeah. It's alright, like my car's in the shop, that's what
How do you feel far safety wise?
I'm safe, I'm from here, so
Right. Oh, so okay, how is it riding Metro?
Oh, riding?
Yes. Good. Do you guys feel secure and safe at times? Okay, thank you.
Now, less than 24 hours ago, the mother had went to Facebook and said this: "April is not and never will be a good month for the family and I. My son passed away April 4th, and today, April 11th, is the day his brother departed this earth. I want to send a special thank you to everyone that have supported me and my family during this hard time. My apologies if I haven't been able to answer everyone. Please forgive me. It is definitely a heartbreaking situation, and I'm doing my best to stay strong like always, like everyone have and is praying for us. I am also praying for you as well. Again, we appreciate everything. I really appreciate everyone. I will leave the link if you guys want to donate for Avion Evans GoFundMe in the description. If you guys feel in your heart to contribute, I know I will as well. Once again, rest in peace to Avion and love and condolences to the family. The mother had voiced her concerns about feeling numb. Check it out.
The message to him, like, you took my baby away. He was 14. He didn't even halfway make it. You took life, you sucked the life out of me by taking my baby. Why? And it could have been anybody, but it was mine. And I'm not saying it should have been somebody else's. No, I don't wish bad on nobody else. But my son, I wish he just wasn't there. He was not involved in anything. You know, you got to deal with the stories that's being put out there, and then you got to deal with the nasty comments and things of that nature. But you got to keep pushing and moving forward, because I know my son is looking at me saying, Mom, I'm so sorry. Or, bro, I'm sorry. Dad, I'm sorry. To his sisters, his brothers, everybody, that he's sorry. That's a hurtful situation. Hurtful. And when you sit there and it be too late. I just wish this was one situation where he would say, Mom, I'm going to come home. And now I don't get to wake him up in the morning and hear the fan. I don't get to say, Avion, get up and it's time for school. I don't get to see him come up the steps and come out on the front and say, Mom and Dad, can you take me to school? It's no more. He was getting prepared for a summer job, his prom, his graduation. Now I can't do any of that.
Now saying his dad plead for help and crushed, you can only imagine, just as well as the mother. But the father has spoke up too, a father that's in his kid's life. Check it out.
Since I have to keep moving on because I still got 3 kids, I still got grandkids, I still got daughters and sons that still love me, so I have to keep going, regardless. I still have to save them. I still got to save my boys. I still got 2 babies. I still got a 16-year-old son that's going through hell because his little brother is gone. So, man, I'm just functioning, man, you know, just functioning.
John Evans has lost 3 sons to murder in the district. 3 brothers, all killed here in Northeast D.C. over the past 8 years. We asked Mayor Muriel Bowser about this family's unimaginable suffering.
I'm not going to talk about their concerns with you. I'll talk to them about it. Because obviously that's troubling to us if we have a family that has had that much loss and probably has a lot more things for us to understand about them.
John Evans says he believes the government needs to do more to protect the city's young people.
I mean, how it's not a government problem when it's a people problem, when we have young kids in D.C. that's grown up to be entrepreneurs and trying to be something one day, and they being slaughtered on their way to school or being slaughtered on their way back from school. I mean, I don't understand how that's not first priority.
Again, Mayor Bowser.
I don't think you can just point a finger at the government. You have to look at the community. You have to look at family needs, and there's a lot to look at.
About Avion's murder at the Brookland Metro Station last Thursday afternoon after school, John Evans says this.
I don't understand how the shooter got into there with the gun, shot my son, and then he got out of there, just walked out. And it's Metro Transit downstairs and 2 or 3 officers upstairs.
The murder of Avion's half-brother John Coleman last May on M Street Northeast, doing handyman work for a neighbor.
When he hopped on his bike to go get the tools, 7 seconds later we heard the gunshot, so they shot him off the bike.
And 8 years ago this month, Evans' 15-year-old son Johnny was killed at the Deanwood Metro Station during a confrontation with another young person.
Johnny was stabbed in the throat. So, I don't know, brother. We need help. We need help. That's what I can say.
It's a sad, unfortunate situation. I think we need to do a coverage on not only just the public transportation in just DC, but in other states, and try to get hands-on and see what can be done to try to improve on that. I know a lot of suggestions was mentioned in this video. If you guys think about anything that need to be done, feel free to comment in the video. Let me know what steps you think needs to be done to work towards that goal. As we mentioned, we want to say rest in peace to all the victims in this video and love and condolences to the family. Sending prayers for DC and his whole. As we mentioned, fam, we don't know our expiration date, and even while covering these stories, at times they can hit home personally, and not having awareness, having stuff be unsolved, having families being grieving, and an ongoing cycle. If playing my part is shining more light on these situations, this might really be a calling that the person I believe in is given to me, and I accept it. As of now, let me know how you guys feel about this one. This was the story of a DC dad who lost 3 kids through the violence in DC. Talk to me in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And today, I'll catch you guys on the next one.